neither populist nor pragmatic. Let's get into the center stage face-off. Joining us on this program, I want to begin by introducing the Minister of State for Railways, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. With us also the man who at the same time last year was in a big soup, also in news for having delivered a big bang budget and then lost his job. Because of it, he's smiling. I'm glad that you're smiling, Mr. Dinesh Trivedi. Welcome to the show. We've got Jai Panda, Member of Parliament of BJD, and Piyush Goyal, Member of Parliament of the BJP. I want to go across first to Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, because what is being said, Mr. Chaudhary, is that this is an unimaginative, insipid budget. It doesn't have a big vision, it doesn't have a big idea. Look at the way the railways in China is expanding. You have put out a very insipid budget which doesn't give people any big idea, doesn't have a big plan. It's not bold, it's not imaginative, it's a very flat budget. Mr. Chaudhary.
Actually, I do not know how do you define it as an insipid budget, because we are exercising this year's budget in the background of severe financial crunch. So it was a very difficult task for us to have a budget which satisfy everybody. You know that Honorable former Railway Minister, who is also today's guest, after presentation his budget, he even remarked that the Indian Railway was under intensive care unit. So you can easily surmise that out of this financially constrained situation, it was really an uphill task of our ministry to present this kind of project. But I would like to say that it's a well balanced.
Okay.
And
no, but that is my problem, Minister. The fact that the railways was in the ICU, as Dinesh Trivedi said, and you didn't do anything to revive it. You know, you made the right sounds, but when it came down to nuts and bolts, I want to bring in Dinesh Trivedi, because you presented, what was called a very reformist budget and paid for it very dearly. What do you make, Mr. Trivedi, of Pawan Bansal's budget? Critics say it's neither pragmatic nor populist.
Pawan is a very dear friend of mine, and what I feel sorry about is not only Indian Railways. I think India has lost an opportunity, because I think the time has come where you have to change your attitude towards Indian Railways. What I mean is, if you consider Indian Railway as only the poor man's transportation or an engine of growth for India, I have always considered Indian Railways as a huge opportunity for growth story of India. In a country like India, I can tell you, railway is an amazing story, and we are looking at an investment opportunity. You know, fare hike, freight hike. We need a generational change, not
Absolutely.
just an incremental change. And that is what, when you said very rightly, China used to be 15 years behind Indian Railways just about 20 years back. Today they are 50 years, 100 years ahead of us, and one of the reasons why China's economy is booming is because of Chinese railways. No country can grow without the railways.
Very, very compelling points. I want to bring Jai Panda in as well. The fact that China has been able to overtake us. So far, the Congress always said that it's with the allies, it's been with the allies for the last 17 years, it's not with us, we can't do anything. Here a Congress minister had a blank slate. He could have written and drawn whatever he wanted. Do you think this is a big opportunity lost, Mr. Panda?
Let me put it in terms of the good, the bad and the ugly.
Yes.
The good is that for the first time an emphasis has been given to our northeastern states and our border states. And I also am happy about the new stress that has been put on hygiene, cleanliness and even the security of passengers. But unfortunately, beyond that, there is bad and there's a lot of ugly. And you saw what happened today, and this is the bad, is that for the first time the budget has been overtly politicized. while large parts of the country have been neglected, you saw certain VIP areas get not one, not two, not three, but 4 mentions in terms of investments, in terms of trains, in terms of new production facilities. And that brings me to the ugly. The ugly is that there are hundreds of millions of poor Indian citizens that are not serviced by the railway to begin with. And these are mostly in poor and Naxalite affected districts. If we want to take all of India forward, not just urban India and not just the chunks that are already served, then we should have put the same emphasis on Naxalite affected districts as we have put on border areas and in J&K. But these have got next to zero. You saw the outrage in Parliament. I can tell you, in my state, in Odisha, and in large parts of the country, people are in a state of shock. They are outraged. How can the railways completely, almost totally ignore such large chunks of the country? Let me give you an example. Odisha gives the railways 14,000 crores of gross earnings every year. And we had asked for less than 1/3 of that to be reinvested into our Naxal affected districts. The projects have been going on for 30 years, 40 years, but we got only 800 crores of investment, which is just a pittance. And if this is the attitude that is going to be shown, we had also asked for investment in mass rapid transit railways, and at least, there is a emphasis being put on freight, because freight is being used to cross-subsidize passenger
but this is
fares.
something that happens each and every time. This is something that happens each and every time, Mr. Dinesh Trivedi. The fact is that even in the past we saw freight was cross-subsidizing fare, passenger fare, which essentially means that more and more transportation is now moving to roads, which is highly environmentally inefficient. Here was an opportunity to try and correct that. That again is a massive opportunity lost by the railway minister, Mr. Trivedi.
You know, Rahul, I must tell you, when Jay was talking about Orissa, Bengal, last year it was 9,000 crore, this year it's not even 500 crore. I'm not only on bits and pieces, you said it very right. And what my concern is, I wanted the operating ratio to go below 74 after the 5-year period of the 12th 5-year plan. As per this, what I'm afraid of is your operating ratio may go above 90. The reason I tell you is because cement, steel and petroleum product, there is a elasticity. Now the freight is going to go much beyond that, and I can tell you for sure that they are going to move to the roadways, and in fact your resource is going to be much lesser next year, and that is why I said this is going to have direct effect on our GDP. I will not be surprised if our GDP comes down less than 5%, maybe 4%, because if railways don't grow, nothing will grow. We are talking about doubling, tripling. We are talking about unleashing energy, which I think government has failed, and they should have talked about an investment of maybe 1 lakh crore, and government should have connected the Narega. Narega at the moment is somewhat, while I am happy that the poor people are getting money, but that money and the work is not used productively. Government should have connected the Narega money with the development of the railway line, so it would have been a win-win situation. You are generating so much of employment, so much of asset, and the whole world would have looked. I think somewhere India has lost out. There is no big ideas at all. We are getting into small petty politics. I think even all of us, opposition including together, we should sit down and talk about bigger ideas.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
India.
I want to bring,
don't see
I want to bring Piyush Goyal in, because Dinesh Trivedi is absolutely right. There's a lot of tinkering and tweaking.
I have to go.
Just stay with us for a moment, Mr. Trivedi. We're coming back to you. Piyush Goyal, there's a lot of tinkering and tweaking in this budget, but Dinesh Trivedi says there is no big idea. What is the vision that the railway minister and the Congress wants to draw for us? They haven't given us any vision.
Absolutely. In fact, the Honorable Minister spoke about a paradigm shift.
Yes.
And I think a paradigm shift means you fundamentally change the approach to things. What we found is actually tinkering a few rupees here and a few rupees there. I in fact join issue with Jay. I'm not even satisfied with what they've done for the railway stations, passenger amenities, for safety and security. And the sad part is we have 347 projects, ongoing projects, who have time runs, time delays, cost overrun of 140% already. There is no definite plan how we are going to take this forward. So another 100 projects are added to that, and it is only going to dissipate scarce resources without giving any benefit to the railways. Also, it is very important to know the Kakotkar committee and the Sam Pitroda committee. Both those committees came up with excellent suggestions, which Mr. Trivedi had recognized in his budget, on modernization, on safety and security. Both have been completely ignored. You find a few things, 100 stations will be done up. There are 7,000 stations. What is the meaning of 100 stations being done up? You never see any cleanliness in the whole system. People are dying. The Honorable Minister has misled the House and the nation when he said the passenger accidents per million kilometers has come down from 0.41 to 0.13. I went into the detailed, Rahul, and I would urge you to do that.
Yes.
It is only in the number of accidents that the quantity has come down. But when you see the deaths and the injured persons, they have gone up in the last 5 years. Mumbai alone, 11,000 people have died in the last 3 years, and there is no mention of that in the entire safety report. Mumbai passengers are travelling on rooftops. They are crowding the trains. They are in such misery day in and day out. And a suburban railway which gives profit to the railways is completely neglected in this.
But what were the compulsions, Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary? So far, the Congress has been blaming allies, saying that the Trinamool won't allow us to do it, Mamta is to blame, the DMK is to blame. We've heard those excuses in the past. In this case, what were the Congress's compulsions? Why is it that this budget doesn't have a big idea? There's a lot of tinkering and tweaking, but there is no vision. Why didn't the minister draw out a vision, a way forward for the Indian Railways?
See, first of all, I would like to mention that Kalahandi belongs to Orissa, and this year Kalahandi has been given a railway project.
No, Mr. Chaudhary, my question is not the business of largest and doling out one extra railway station or one extra train. My question is much larger, much more fundamental. Look at the progress China is making. Why is it that the minister and the government can't give us a vision for how we can try and catch up or at least emulate some of what they're doing?
See, while you are relishing the growth of China, I would like to remind you that in China has the train with a speed of 300 kilometers, where India is running the train at an average speed of 35 kilometers to 40 kilometers. So overnight, we cannot elevate ourselves to the status or stature of China. However, Indian elephant will negotiate all the barriers and would able to carve out a niche for this country. Those who are now dishing out.
I must.
Yes, I want to bring Jai Panda in because you're making the same excuse that Pawan Bansal made when I interviewed him earlier this evening, and he said, Mr. Jai Panda, that India is not China. In China, they forcibly take away people's land. China has moved with speed, but in India, we can't move with the same speed. Jai Panda.
Absolutely right. China does not have any democracy. You all know. You are all aware of.
First of all,
when you are talking about that we are tinkering with the railway budget without having any big idea, even while tinkering with the railway, established structure, you are creating a hue and cry that the common people are being burdened with more and more fear.
Okay, you made your point, so Mr. Chaudhary. You made your point. Yeah. Let Jai Panda and Piyush come in on this issue of the comparison with China. Jai Panda.
Rahul.
Go on.
The Honourable Minister must not be allowed to get away with such factual inaccuracies. He mentioned a project in Kalahandi in Orissa. This is the same project that has been mentioned in the last 3 railway budgets, and it is again being repeated without any work being started. And that is the track record that I think people are outraged about, that they announce projects which they simply don't do anything about. And you know, the attitude that we can't compete with China is a defeatist one to begin with. I mean, how can you even dream of anything big or anything in the future if you start with the attitude that we can't compete with them when we used to be on par with them only a couple of decades ago? So that attitude is wrong, and you know the whole emphasis must be
we cannot live in fool's paradise right now, because it is impossible now to match with China. See, you may have ambitious dream. It is good that you may have ambitious dream, but in order to implement it, the resources that is required, that we don't have right now. That's why we are facing this kind of stupendous task.
You know.
Rahul,
I'll tell you why the task.
Let Jay Panda finish his argument. I also want to bring Piyush Goyal in.
Short-sighted planning. I'll just take 30 seconds to complete this. You know, I'm sorry. I want to use an Odisha example because I'm most familiar with Odisha. The fact is, since the railways is earning most of its money from freight,
that has been,
and Odisha is one of the states where they have lots of freight because of
one
mining and different kinds of ores. And will you please allow me to complete? The problem is, even in states where you are getting lot of revenue from freight, you are not investing. In Odisha, there are 8 districts which have no railways at all, and these are the districts affected by Naxalism. And if the railways does not go to those areas, you cannot curb Naxalism only by the gun. You have to also provide.
Those are important points.
That is one of the prime purposes of the railways.
Piyush Goyal,
it's not doing it.
Both the ministers from Railways Ministry are saying that we can't compete with China. India is not China. They can do things we can't. Do you think that's an accept? He says, you have to be pragmatic. You know, you can't just sit and build the castles in the air. You have to be pragmatic and realize India is not China. We can't do what the Chinese railway has done. Piyush.
Rahul, 2 things in that. First of all, I am suspicious whether the Congress is going back to the emergency days and trying to tell the people that they don't want a democracy and they want dictatorship if they want to perform. But more importantly, I'll draw your attention to the 6 years Mr. Vajpayee led an NDA government. We never took these excuses. We expanded the road network to the nook and corner of the country, the Golden Quadrilateral, the East-West Corridor. We brought in so many infrastructural developments. I don't think we had any problem in terms of implementation. The people are crying for infrastructure. People will be delighted that the railways perform well. Sadly, they are talking of fiscal prudence, but the fact of the matter is they have done nothing to improve in terms of efficiency. They are now talking of employing 1,52,000 more employees, which means another 3,000-4,000 crores of expenditure, and the further increase in pensions and all the administrative expenses. They are doing nothing to increase the efficiency of the freight movement on the rail tracks. So a Mumbai-Delhi journey on freight takes 5 days, which should be done in 2 days. A Rajdhani does 1 journey in a day, Mumbai to Delhi, in 16 hours, which should be done in 10 or 11 hours, because it runs at 150 kilometers and the distance is only 1300 kilometers. And I can give you a litany of possibilities. There's so much we can do to encash the surplus land that the railways have. They have set up a fiber optic network which doesn't earn them any revenue. And increasing freight rates are going to become uncompetitive. So actually it's counterproductive. They have only gone back in time. China, which was 27,000 kilometers in 47, is now over 100,000 kilometers rail line. And as you said, 300 kilometer high speed trains. We have increased from 54,000 to 64,000. Only 10,000
But
kilometers.
Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, what Piyush Goyal is saying is spot on. Nobody actually buys the government's excuses. You know, people want the government to find the ways and the means of being able to achieve progress, to do what it takes to set up big projects, to show that things are possible in this country. When you say don't build castles in the air, don't just come up with these notions of competing with China, people don't buy those explanations, sir.
See, there is no problem of building castles in the air. There is no problem of it. But the fact is, in Odisha, still the menace of Naxalism has not been curbed, in spite of no dearth of big ideas and big resources. See, railway is such an organization. Railway is such an organization which needs revenue from one place to distribute that same revenue to other places. We have to spread our revenues. So we can't argue that because Odisha is pouring more and more fund to the railway exchequer, That is why he has to be given more and more railway projects. These argue cannot be substantiated. In as far as India Railway is concerned, we have to think within the limitation of our
Rahul, it's like talking to a wall.
Within the geography of India, and that is why
Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary,
what we are doing is being observed by everybody.
No, Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, there are so many trains. 67 new trains have been announced this year.
Don't ridicule me. If you have anything to say, just come face to face. Don't ridicule me in such a way.
No, I'm not ridiculing
Panda,
you. That's Jai Panda. He wants to obviously resort to what you're saying. But I'm asking you a larger question, sir. 67 new trains have been announced. There are so many railway projects. If you're looking at some standing committee figures that Piyush Goyal was speaking about earlier in the day, there are projects going back to 1975 which still haven't been completed. Is that not the case, Piyush? Projects going back to 1975 which haven't been completed, and the government's gone and announced more projects. Piyush, make the point, then I want Adhir Dada to respond.
I have a whole list of 347 projects over here.
Adhir Dada, first hear Piyush. Before you respond, listen to Piyush and then respond, Mr. Chaudhary. Go ahead, Piyush.
Rahul, there is a list of 347 ongoing projects which have not been completed.
That is why now
they require 1,47,000 crores. And projects going back to 75, number of projects
that is what we have identified. 347 projects, so as to implement
Mr. Chaudhary, you must hear. Why don't you hear Piyush make his point? We'll give you an opportunity to respond to it. Just hear Piyush Goyal first. Piyush.
Rahul, I went into the details of the budget.
Yes.
While Mr. Pavan Bansal recognized that there are 347 projects, the amounts he has allocated are so measly that there is no way that any of them are going to make any significant progress. There is no visionary thinking that at least the last mile funding for projects which are low-hanging fruits should be provided and expedited first. There is no alternative vision of how to raise revenue to surplus land, through efficiency improvement. There is so much that one can talk in terms of the timetable. Are you aware this timetable is from the days when the steam engines were being run? And there's times of 10 minutes and 20 minute stoppages, and trains which should cover a distance in say 10 hours take as long as 22 hours to cover the same distance. Adhir Ranjan ji just said the average speed is 30 kilometers. What are they doing to improve that? What are they doing to improve the efficiency so that instead of increasing freight rates and becoming uncompetitive, they can actually reduce the rates, which we did when the NDA was in power.
Mr. Chaudhary, answer those questions. Those are important questions.
See, I can't understand what actually the content of its question. Please elaborate me, then I will be able to
No, his question is very simple. There are 347 projects which are still pending. Some of these projects, the standing committee figures say go back to 1975. The allocations to these projects are so measly that you're not even realistically expecting to complete them. Just because you want to keep this a Davy train, keep everybody happy, you've got those projects down on paper when you yourself in the ministry know that you can't complete these projects. It's a sham.
Yeah, right. Absolutely right. See, there is no hide and seek game with the railway ministry. Over the years, scores of and hundreds of railway projects have been accumulated without being implemented. That is why now, if you go to the number of self projects and the estimate of those projects, it will go up to more than 4,50,000 crores. That is why, in a pragmatic view, we are to identify those projects which can be implemented, and in view of its operational feasibility and in view of its last mile implementation aspect, we are to going to implement the 347 projects which have been identified. So it is a very pragmatic attitude, I think so. And yes, over the years it has been accumulated without being implemented. We have been, inherited a huge number of projects. That is really a difficult task to implement right now within the the financial constraint of the railways.
Okay, you've now come to...
We are not hiding anything from anybody.
You're saying that these are known facts, but don't expect Pavan Bansal, he doesn't have a magic wand to be able to set all of what is wrong with the railway in 1 year.
Right.
Jai Panda, very quickly. the fact that yes, there are problems, but the Congress minister can't set them all right in 1 year.
Yes. Yes, but first of all, I want to quickly say that I have nothing personally against the Honorable Minister, and I don't mean to ridicule him personally, but I do have objections to the policies of this government which he has been defending. And the tragedy is this, that if actually this government was being pragmatic, which it is being claiming to be, then many of these problems could be solved. You know, the Honorable Minister said that just because a particular state gives more revenue to the railways doesn't mean railways will invest more in that state. But actually, if a particular state gives more revenue and also has many areas which have freight opportunities, also has lot of districts which are totally untouched by railways, which causes naxalism, then it makes logical sense, it makes revenue sense, it makes political sense to invest more in those projects, and yet it's not being done. So the argument that they're being pragmatic is not correct. What they're actually being is that they're politicizing the budget and putting more investment in areas which already have a lot, and not in areas that deserve and are able to give them revenue.
I'm going to leave it over there. We've heard from the opposition, we've heard from the government. Mr. Chaudhary, quick final words.
The government does not have any intention to discriminate against any government belonging whosoever. The fact is that Odisha is a mineral-rich state of our country. However, Naxalite menace has been flourishing there over the decades. And in spite of the competent CMs and other officials there, this menace has not been cut substantially.
No.
And again I am saying that revenue has to be spread over the
No, I don't want this to turn into a state versus
India
center
is a country
issue.
consisting of 35 states.
No, this is not about you taking a pot shot at Naveen Patnaik for not being able to curb the menace of Naxalism. The issues, as Piyush Goyal, Trivedi and Jay Panda said, are much bigger.
It is also true.
Much larger issues of whether the railways will only be an instrument for transporting poor people, or will we actually upgrade the facility and the infrastructure of the railways, like China has successfully done, to make it a modern mode of transportation, as it is in the United States, as it is in Europe and elsewhere.
Already we are going to set up dedicated freight corridor. Already we are considering the idea of high-speed railway corridor. So we are heading towards that objective.
Okay, you've had your say. Whether or not that's adequate, I leave it to the people to decide.
China.
Piyush, very quickly, make a final point.
Well, I think, as you very rightly summarized in the beginning of the debate, we need some big-ticket thinking, a vision, a roadmap for the future. There are a lot of possibilities. In my humble opinion, this railway revenue can be doubled in the next 5 years without any increase of fares or freight rates. In my humble opinion, we can modernize the railways, bring in safety measures. I only wish this government would talk to us, talk to people. I'm happy to give a few ideas and help them run the railways.
Well, there are ideas which have been on the table. The question is, those ideas are not being implemented. They haven't even been put on the table. Why is it that the minister has been so bereft of imagination in putting out this budget? I'm going to leave it over there. Thank you very much, gentlemen.